Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to discuss the next aspect of central tendency, which is mode. I'm sure you guys would have done this until class 10, but then there's a little more in detail that we need to do here. Mode is that value of the central tendency which is having the highest frequency or the most frequent value of the variable or the series is termed as mode. Again, there are three series. We are going to understand mode in all the three series. We are going to understand mode using two methods, namely the inspection method and the grouping table method. In case of the individual series, we have only one method. It's the inspection method. We also call this as observation method. इसमें क्या होता है? You have height given to you as an example, 52 onwards in inches up to 65, right? You have a continuous value of x given as height. Now what are you going to do is you're just going to arrange it in ascending order like I have done it, 48, 50, 52 and so on. We are going to observe which value of x, which height is the one which is repeated the maximum number of times. It is 66 inches is the height which is repeated maximum number of times. So the mode of this particular series is 66. ये individual series में सिर्फ inspection method है. I'm sure you understand that it cannot be more than maybe one or maximum it's an MCQ question, right? Coming to the second series, the discrete series. In discrete series, we are going to use two methods, namely inspection method and the grouping table method. Inspection method is also known as the observation method, जिसमें तुम्हें x column दिया हुआ है और f दिया हुआ है. Can you see this numerical here? This is your discrete series. You have your x and you have your f column. Now, if you see f, it is here the maximum frequency is 10. So किस value की maximum frequency 10 है? Wages 130. So तुम्हारा mode क्या है? 130. So according to inspection method और observation method, खाली देखकर inspect करके कि जिस variable x की सबसे ज़्यादा frequency होती है वो तुम्हारा mode है. लेकिन कभी-कभी क्या होता है ये 8 और 10 इनमें difference सिर्फ 2 है. So when the difference between the two is just two highest frequencies is just 2 or sometimes 1, then it becomes very difficult to decide कि actual में mode is 130 or not. So to avoid confusion, we use the grouping table method, right? So in grouping table method, we are going to have three steps in case of discrete series. The first step is हम grouping table बनाएंगे, फिर हम analysis table बनाएंगे और फिर हम mode की value निकालेंगे. Okay children, in continuation to the earlier video, if you are calculating mode in case of discrete series using grouping table method, वैसे तो एग्जाम्स में तुम्हें आएगा कि कौन सा मेथड यूज करना है, बट अगर ना आया तो राइट यू हैव टू चेक द फ्रीक्वेंसी. इफ द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द हाईएस्ट two frequencies is 2, then you are always recommended to use grouping table method. In grouping table method, there are three steps, as I told you. One, you have to make a grouping table. Second, you have to make the analysis table. And third, you have to have the mode ascertained. Now, if you look here, the first step, grouping table. This is your question, children, x and f. हमने कुछ भी नहीं करना. We have to make 6 columns. So पहले आप 6 columns लिखोगे, including the frequency to be the first column. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. पहले 6 columns lines बनाकर बना लो. उसके बाद आप क्या करोगे? इमीडिएटली ये टेबल बना लिया. अब इसके ऊपर लिखो 1 + 2, इसके ऊपर लिखो 2 + 3, देन 1 + 2 + 3, 2 + 3 + 4, 3 + 4 + 5. राइट, इट्स वेरी क्लियरली गिवन ऑन द टॉप. ये लिख लो, लिखे बिना नहीं होगा. अब करना क्या है? हमने वी हैव टू टोटल, वी हैव टू मेक अ सम ऑफ दीज components given here from the frequency. I give you an example. अब जैसे फर्स्ट कॉलम में तो कुछ भी नहीं है, राइट. सेकेंड कॉलम में 1 + 2 है. 1 + 2 मतलब 2 + 4 6 आ गया, मैंने लाइन बना दी. 8 + 10 18 आ गई, मैंने लाइन बना दी. 5 + 4 9 आ गया, and that's how I leave it. थर्ड कॉलम में मैंने पहले वाले को छोड़ दिया, so I make a line here. ये देखो 2 के अगेंस्ट लाइन है, मैंने लाइन बना दी. देन मैंने 2 को ऐड किया, 2 + 3 12. अब इसके बाद आपने कोई भी वैल्यू छोड़नी नहीं है, सिर्फ पहली वैल्यू छोड़नी थी. फिर अब 10 + 5 15 एंड 4. ये 4 क्योंकि 2 वैल्यूज नहीं है, आप छोड़ भी सकते हो, इट इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. मैंने खाली दिखाया तो मैं लिखने के लिए, फिर इग्नोर इट, राइट, इसको छोड़ दो. देन 1 + 2 + 3, मतलब ये पहले 3 लेनी है मुझे, सो दैट इज 14. फिर नेक्स्ट 3 लेनी है मुझे, 90. नेक्स्ट कॉलम 1 नहीं लेना, तो मैंने यहां लाइन बना दी, 1 नहीं लेना. फिर 2 + 3 + 4 22. फिर लाइन, ये लाइन हर एक के नीचे बनाने का इज convenient for you children. Make sure you make the lines like that, like the way I have made it for you. Then once I made 22, उसके बाद आपका रह गया 5 + 4. हमें 3 चाहिए और यहाँ सिर्फ 2 है, छोड़ दो. नेक्स्ट इज 3 + 4 + 5, मतलब पहले दोनों को छोड़ रहे हो, फर्स्ट एंड सेकेंड को छोड़ रहे हो, राइट, एंड देन आप थर्ड, फोर्थ, फिफ्थ को ले लोगे, 23. सो चिल्ड्रन, इस वीडियो में सिर्फ ग्रुपिंग टेबल बनाना सिखाया मैं. नेक्स्ट मैं अगला समझाती हूँ. चिल्ड्रन, आई एम श्योर यू हैव कंप्लीटेड द ग्रुपिंग टेबल. सो व्हेन यू आर copying mode, make sure that the video is on. While the video is on, you make the you note down everything as given. Children, बिना noting down nothing will happen. So once you have done with the grouping table, जब आपने टेबल बना लिया, अब सेकेंड स्टेप क्या करोगे आप? हाईएस्ट वैल्यू इन हर कॉलम यू विल सर्कल. जैसे यहाँ 10 है, यहाँ 18 है, 15, 19, 22 and 23. I have circled the highest value column wise. The third step what I do is I make the analysis table. Now how do we make the analysis table? Very simple, listen carefully. If you see our x was 100, 110, 120, ये ऐसे लिख लो, ऐसे ही लिखना है. कॉलम्स हमारे कितने हैं? 6 है, 1 to 6. मैं तुम्हें दोबारा दिखा देती हूँ. ये देखो x आपका 100 to 150 है और कॉलम्स आपके 6 हैं. तो मैंने क्या किया, x को हॉरिजॉन्टल ले लिया यहाँ और कॉलम्स को ले लिया यहाँ. नाउ व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू इज, मैं आपको दोनों साइमल्टेनियसली दिखाती हूँ. जस्ट वेट. या कैन यू सी बोथ द टेबल्स नाउ? नाउ व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू इज, इन द फर्स्ट कॉलम 10 इज हाईएस्ट, सो 10 मतलब 130, तो 130 पर टिक मारो. इन द सेकेंड कॉलम 18 इज हाईएस्ट, 18 is the sum of 8 and 10. x का है 120, 130. यहाँ 120, 130 को टिक मारो. थर्ड कॉलम में 15 is highest. 15 is total of 10 and 15, मतलब 130, 140. हमने लेना x square, but f के थ्रू. 19 is the sum total of 130, 140, 150. क्यों? 10, 5, 4. सो 130, 140, 150, तीनों को एक एक टिक दे दिया हमने. ये देख लो, मैंने 3 दे दिए. फिर 22 इज अ टोटल ऑफ 4, 8, 10, मतलब 110, 120 एंड 130. फिर आ जाओ 23 इज अ टोटल ऑफ 8, 10, 5, 120, 130, 140. ये देखो 120, 130, 140. सो ये वीडियो को ध्यान से देखना और इसका आराम से करना. अब तुम क्या करोगे? वर्टिकली, आई रिपीट, वर्टिकली एनालिसिस टेबल में टोटल करो. यहाँ कुछ भी नहीं है, 0, यहाँ 1 है, यहाँ 3 है, यहाँ 6 है, यहाँ 3 है, यहाँ 1 है. सो हाईएस्ट टोटल किसका है? 6. ये 130 का है. सो योर मोड इज 130. चिल्ड्रन, carefully do this by yourself. If you have any doubts, you can always ask me. Good afternoon, children. Let us understand now how to calculate mode in case of continuous series. Right? Now there are two methods as already discussed. There is inspection method or observation method, and the second is grouping table method. Now you can see the numerical in front. It's continuous series 10 to 20, 20 to 30 and so on, and then you have frequency 10, 14. Now inspection method can be used if nothing is mentioned when you have the highest frequency. You see the highest frequency is 35, So take that entire block as the modal class. When you have the modal class, I would always recommend you to block it here and write F0, F1, F2. When you do so, it becomes easy for you to calculate and estimate when you're putting in the formula. Inspection method, we directly use the formula. The formula is what you've done in 10th standard. Z is equal to L1 plus F1 minus F0 upon 2 F1 minus F0 minus F2 into I. You very well know what is L1. L1 is 40, F1 is 35, F0 is 20 and F2 is 26. Put in all the values, right, and solve the bracket part first, and then add or minus whatever it is to the L1. You get 46.75, and the answer always lies in the modal class which you had calculated or estimated by looking at the highest frequency. Okay, now we are going to calculate mode using the grouping table method. Now, like the method is the same, children, it goes in the same methodology like you did for discrete series. Only thing is here we are going to use the formula also. In step 1, we are going to calculate the grouping table. Now in grouping table, you very well know this is the question. This is your first column. We have total 6 columns. The second, third, fourth, fifth and the 6th column. In the first column, we take the frequency itself. Grouping table method is always recommended when the difference between the highest 2 frequencies is at least 2. If the difference is more than 2, you can use inspection method if nothing is mentioned, or else you'll have to use the grouping table method. In the second column, we do 1 plus 2. We have the summation of the first and the second frequencies. We sum them in pairs. In column 3, we leave the first frequency, second and third. In column 4, first, second, third. In column 5, second, third, fourth. In column 6, third, fourth, fifth. This is exactly like the discrete series. Now I've already told you how to estimate the grouping table. I've told you how to total this: 4 plus 10, 14, 25 plus 15, 40. Always it's recommended to put these lines in between. When you put these lines in between, it becomes very clear for you when you are doing the analysis table. So once when you have made this grouping table, the second step is you will circle all the highest values in that particular column. For example, here 25, here 45, here 38 and so on. The third step would be estimation of your analysis table. Analysis table also you will do exactly the way you did in the discrete series here. Only thing is you will put the class intervals here. If you remember, in that particular discrete series we had put X here. So you put your class intervals here, and here you put your columns, 6 columns. Now if you look here, the highest value in your grouping table in the first column is 25. 25 lies in 30 to 40. So हमने 30 to 40 को एक tick दे दिया. In the second column, the highest value is 45. It is a sum total of 23 and 22. 23 and 22 lie between 50 to 60 and 60 to 70. तो हम क्या करेंगे, सेकेंड कॉलम के अगेंस्ट 50 to 60 and 60 to 70 की 2 टिक्स डाल देंगे. योर टिक शुड बी इन द सेम ऑर्डर एज ग्रुपिंग टेबल. अगर आप ध्यान से देखोगे ग्रुपिंग टेबल में इन द फर्स्ट कॉलम ओनली 1 टिक, सेकेंड में 2 आएंगे, थर्ड में 2, फोर्थ, फिफ्थ और 6 में 3 ईच. यहाँ भी ऐसे हो रहा है, 1 फिर 2 फिर 2 फिर 3 3 और 3. देन वर्टिकली यू विल एड द नंबर ऑफ टिक्स. एंड यहाँ तुम देखोगे ध्यान से, वी आर गेटिंग द हाइएस्ट वैल्यू हियर 5. मतलब योर मॉडल क्लास इज 50 to 60. If you did not use the grouping table, you would have assumed your model class to be 30 to 40. But grouping table करके हमें पता चला model class is between 50 to 60. And the last step will be putting the formula. So once you have got the model class, you put F0, F1 and F2, and then you get the apply the formula, and then you get the answer.